Good evening from the home of Hell Track, Northwest Calgary, Alberta. Well, I don't know if my parts are going to be here before the snow gets here, so my performer can be 100% done, but even though they're not worth the most, I've always thought that these particular bikes, and not just because they're mine, have had the best paint jobs of the mid-school genre. If I could have it my way, I would have gotten my wife a Dyno Nitro, but that's pretty dang hard to find with the flame decals now. And she doesn't like riding the 20-inch bikes so much. I got to build another 24. But that's okay. Just a couple of old bikes that I've had for a long time, even though the dyno went missing for a long time. Let me get on over here. Even though the dyno went missing for 7 years and I got it back again. It's still a pretty nice little bike collection. I mean, they're both different in their own ways. I mean, I love the TNT stem on this bike, but if I had it my way, I'd actually prefer the piston stem and the piston seat post clamp on the Performer, but of course, this particular stem doesn't have the POTS mod, and it's a different size seat. I think it's a 25 rather than the 22 too. But you know, do what you can with what you got. Now, if I could have it my way, if I had a brand new set of these Sun BFRs, and then with the Joytech hubs, a pair of these brand new, or the set of the Mohawks and 48s, I would really be happy with. But to be perfectly honest, for a long time I've always liked the look of a solid high flange hub and a double wall rim and a 48. I've always liked them. I thought they're beautiful rims. I mean, the dyno was a dumpster find, so you know, I did what I could to get it rolling back in the day, and now with the exception of that rear rim, which I intend to have a GT Mohawk 48 if I can find one. If there's one that doesn't have a mate, I'd like to get that for the back of this bike. But again, my wife doesn't like to ride the 20-inch bike so much, so I think there's going to be a definite limit to what I do on the dyno. But the GT, I've said this before, with the exception of the bars, this is done. I love this bike. I can't wait for my handlebars to get here. You know what I mean? A couple of bikes, you know, I could ride one by myself or have my wife ride the other by itself. We get a lot of compliments when these bikes are together. You know, just a little bit of mid-school flavor. Not as desirable as a lot of the 80s stuff or the earlier 90s, but again, I'm 44, and you know, I think a 97 and a 98, 16, 17, 18 years old, you know, these bikes were new. And I would have still been riding my BMXs. Didn't have a car till I was about 26. Poor people problems, you know. But as I got my cars and motorcycles later in life, I started craving riding a bike again. Even though I hated it for years, I had to ride a BMX everywhere. It was very humbling growing up, but I got a little bit older and I really started missing it. But we'll take one more sweep of that there paint. It ain't bad. See, you can see the big bare patch right there. That's where a lot of it was scratched right off. I had to touch this, the chain stays and seat stays. Mostly the seat stays. They came pretty good. Love that paint. And of course, this one was resprayed on the back end. But can't fix those decals. I was gonna have the back end sprayed. You know what? I'm going to leave it. There's only one imperfection underneath there. You see that? That was the sign that sat on my bike for 7 years. And when I took that tape off, even though it was only a masking tape, it took the paint off with it. But at least I got the bike back with that minimal damage. But I hope this video didn't put too much sun glare on everybody. Just kind of limited this time of year when the sun hangs lower in the sky. But from Northwest Calgary, Alberta, the home hell track, y'all stay rad.